My name is Javon, and in this video I will be informing you about the misrepresentation and misinterpretation of Christianity. These days, Christianity is a target of hate, scrutinization, and lots of different interpretations. And the main reason that I feel like it's so hated and talked about a lot is simply because of a lot of people that misrepresent and misinterpret what Christianity really is about. And so, to give the most brief explanation on what Christianity is as a Christian, it's simply in the name. Being a Christian is being Christ-like. And in this video, I will be simply informing you of 3 different ways that Christianity is misinterpreted and misrepresented. So today, as of 2024, there is approximately 2.6 billion Christians, according to a website called Gordon Caldwell. This number is very large because a rough approximation of the general population is 8 billion. So that means over 1/4 of the world's population is Christian, which is very significant, right? But that unfortunately means that there could be a lot of people you could say is an imposter, because it is a fact that people can say they are something and they are not. They could say that they are good and do nothing but evil. And a good reference is men, how men is represented, because the men as a whole, you can't say men as a whole is bad, because one man does heinous crimes and now all men are hated. That's the same thing with Christians. Some people call themselves Christians and they act nothing like a Christian, and then people use that person as that person says they're Christian, but they don't. But they do. They kill, they murder, they steal, they rape women, they do all these evil misdeeds, and so people use that as an example for what all Christians are, and that's just simply not fair. Secondly, according to an article on Quora, there are approximately 45,000 different denominations of Christianity, which means that there's so many different interpretations of what Christianity is, and that leaves up a lot of room for misinterpretation, because somebody goes to a church that follows a certain denomination and they talk about how the woman should be at home cleaning, cooking, and doing all that, when that's not what Christianity is about. So that's just one brief example of how there's so many different denominations, and yet none of those can really represent, not all of those represent what Christianity is really about, therefore misrepresenting it. And lastly, the third way is social media. Social media is a humongous platform these days, and there is a lot of talk about Christians, their morals, their beliefs, questioning, the scriptures and all that. And speaking of scripture, a very common thing I see these days that's quite baffling to me is how people who don't know anything about Christianity, they hear a scripture and they take it completely out of context and talk about how it's right or wrong or whatever. It's so weird to me of how you could take a scripture that has more that explains it more as you read it, but they read the one scripture, cut off, misinterpret it, and post it online, and that gets spreaded, that because it's much easier to spread hate than love. And so that hate towards Christianity is misrepresented and misinterpreted both, which ultimately misrepresents what Christianity is. So to conclude, I have simply shown you ways that Christianity has been misinterpreted and misrepresented throughout the entire world, not just in America, but all over the entire world. People of all different cultures, different religions have all done these things to Christianity. And simply I just want everyone to do their own research. And if you want to be a Christian, then find someone who follows Jesus Christ and they try to be Christ-like.